Nevaeh, I feel like, I know you pretty well from BWF days, but yeah, at the same time, I feel like I don't. And, for Shot Wrestling listeners and for fans of BCW, I feel like they don't really necessarily know who the Immaculate Threat is. Why don't you lay it out for us? Who is Nevaeh Chantelle going to 2023?
So starting off, I got into wrestling. I was in a very conflicted time in my life. Graduated college, didn't know my next step. I had no real passion for anything. So I had a reflection of my life. And I know the only thing that I've ever had a constant love for is professional wrestling. But I always held myself back because I'm like, I'm too dark. I don't look like the girls on TV. I'm too big. And I had, I don't want to say it's religious coming together, but I said, God, if you ever want me to do something, please send me a sign. And I happened to see a tweet at the time that the Monster Factory posted about making a monster. It was like they were having like free training for people, prospective trainees. And I said, but can I really do this? I always thought I was too big or my size was going to get in the way. But I said, I owe it to myself to try. And from the first moment I stepped into a wrestling ring, something in my heart says, I belong here. I've always dealt growing up with insecurities, self-doubts, low self-esteem, coming from bullying, family problems. And throughout the years, wrestling has built me up. It's helped me become it helped me become a better woman. I was never this girly. I didn't wear makeup. I didn't, the pictures you see of me on the internet, that wasn't me before, because I felt like I'm 200 plus pounds. I'm dark. I'm not the standard of beauty. I'm definitely not in wrestling either, because there's an aesthetic that most wrestling fans, especially when I was growing up, that a woman wrestler needed to have. I was just a girl who fell in love with a story of two wrestlers in the ring, and my emotions was connected into a match. Throughout my first year in wrestling, I still dealt with those insecurities, and I created a facade for myself that, from my shoot personality, and I think the Immaculate Threat came from, listen, when you're in the wrestling ring, this is your sanctuary. This is your new identity. This is your protection. So I think what I want the fans to know about Nevaeh Chantelle is, when you see me in the ring, you're seeing a person who grew up loving wrestling, who wants to become an idol, not an idol, I shouldn't say an idol, a person that another young girl can look at and be like, she looks like me. I can do that. I love wrestling. This is and I know it sounds so cheesy, but I just want, if I can make one young girl look at a Black 200 plus pound girl in the ring and be like, you know what? I can do that. This is my dream too. And if I can ever inspire somebody to do that, I can never get signed. I can never make $1 million in this business, but I can rest my head knowing I did something in the world. So
Damn.
That's what I want people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, that's just amazing. It just hit home for me, because a person of color, representation matters so much. Because we're so used in any form of entertainment, we're always seeing the typical white cis male or cis female, and for other people, that's not the whole world, right? That's not a representation of the whole world. There's many different people, whether you're Black, Latino, gay, straight, trans, seeing that on screen matters.
Yes.
And of all shapes and forms of sizes too. It's to see, especially as a young kid who's impressionable, to see someone looks like me out there living their dream would give any kid hope. So that's a beautiful message.
Yeah. Growing up, I was a teenager about time Awesome Kong was debuting for TNA. I had Jazz and Jack. I did have representation, but also you were pushed with Trish Stratus, who I admired just as much, but you had that standard of beauty being pushed more, or Tori Wilson, blonde hair, big breath, like that was the standard. That was what was going to get you to be successful. And I just want, in the years to come in my own career, I can tell a girl that looks like me, look, you can admire those girls, but a girl who looks like we can do it just as much as they can. And we
Absolutely.
can be successful. The first couple of years, I did feel the pressure of wrestling, and it used to bother me because my old trainer would push the conventional beauty. You know what I'm saying? So it was a deterrent, but I switched camps now. I'm refocused, and I'm just ready to really show the world what I can do. The real Nevaeh Chantelle is coming this year, and I'm excited about that.
That's amazing, and I'm glad to see. And I'm glad that you got so personal and real here, talking about that. I think that's so important to understand anybody's reason why, and I think your reason why is absolutely incredible and admirable. But shifting gears now to BCW now, I've seen growth with you. Again, first saw you first year in BWF to now the Fallout Shelter, tremendous place for training. I can't state enough, the trainers that they have there. Talk to me about that. I mean, talk to me about the trainers that you've had at Fallout Shelter and how it's prepared you for now. Because you've been in some pretty big matches in BCW. You started the Queen of the Monsters match. I believe that was Queen of the North 3.
Yes.
And then also you were in the Grand Dragon tournament facing off Darius Carter in round 1, which is no easy task whatsoever. So talk to me about that.
What I like about Fallout Shelter is basically that the training has incorporated all types of styles of wrestling. I learned different ways of doing things, not feeling hindered by size like I felt like I was at my previous school. And just psychology, learning how to work, making strategy in the ring make sense, and conveying stories. That means a lot to me, because growing up in wrestling, a story is what always connected me. Moves are nice, but if I can learn how to tell a story that can make a fan invested, then I did my job.
No, absolutely. I mean, stories, it's never going to go out of style.
Right.
You see people like Stone Cold, for example, The Rock. They weren't necessarily the best athletes in the ring, but they told an amazing story, and that's why they were so incredibly over. That's why they're the most well-known wrestlers in the history of wrestling, because their stories just impacted so many people. So I mean, that's well said.
Think about it. The greatest face heel swap happened in a match without a promo, and that was Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was completely told by wrestling. I want to bring that back though, because I feel like if a wrestler can tell that type of story without even saying, we're like, of course, promos and talking is an important part of wrestling, but I think right now independent wrestling can use more storytelling in the ring as well. That's just my personal opinion.
What type of story would you like to see the Immaculate Threat in?
I want to tell a story, whether it's good or bad, that a woman can be just as violent, just as physical, can take and receive the same type of punishment as a man. That's why I'm a huge fan of intergender wrestling. And we can talk about the match. We can talk about the match I just had at BCW.
Well, you just set it up for me.
Just saying.
Just saying. So yes, I mean, going into that, you did have a match with Darius Carter, the Grand Dragon Championship, first round, Grand Dragon tournament, excuse me, first round in that tournament. And I mean, you don't get more physical. You don't go against someone more dangerous and brutal than Darius Carter, man or female. Talk to me going to that matchup, because I mean, they literally did draw these names out of a hat. And I mean, I can only imagine if like my name was drawn against Darius Carter first round. I'm like, well, that sucks.
I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna give you the real answer of how I felt. I said, "Oh shit," I did not see that. Of course, it's always a possibility, right? It was always a possibility, but you don't think I'm planning matches with other people. I don't know why I didn't think it was a possibility, but I'm in my head when I'm thinking of the tournament, hearing the names being announced, like, oh, Christina Marie, that's a cool match. Lala, that's a cool match. Gangon, that's a cool, like, you think about it, and then you hear the last name is Darius Carter, and I'm like, oh, snap. And everyone, I tried to play coy about it on the spaces, but everybody wanted to be in the finals, and everybody assumed in the finals you were facing Darius Carter.
Right. Which
You know
did
what I'm
wind up
saying?
be the case. Darius Carter did
Right.
make it to the finals. But yeah, I mean, like, he's like who's the number one team right now in NFL? He's like the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, you just
Exactly.
assume they're going to go to the Super Bowl, right? Because of the brand and the name. They just associate it with it. But like, with you, I feel like I was frustrated for you because I think people looked at you in that matchup and it was just like an easy win for Darius.
Right.
How did that feel for you?
I'm not gonna lie, like, I was frustrated because I was going into the Grand Dragon tournament thinking, okay, I can, rack up some wins, shock everybody. Of course, I knew Darius was always going to be an issue, but I don't think I processed the idea of, like, I think I took Darius Carter, like, if I get to the finals, I'll deal with him now. So when that first round came out, the honest action was like, okay, girl, shock the world or die trying, because I knew I was going to get my ass beat, win, lose, or draw. You know what I mean? I was getting my ass beat.
Listen, he didn't hold back there. He's got a chip in his shoulder now more than ever because of what happened with Marina Shafir last year, losing the World Heavyweight Championship after an incredible reign.
Amazing match.
Amazing. So I've been on the other hand of Darius Carter. I've been involved with a match with him, with a client of mine back in the day in a World Heavyweight Championship match. I know what it's like with Darius Carter. He is a man or a wrestler, I should say, that makes everyone around him up their game. He makes everyone around them better, even on commentary. What was the lesson that you feel like you've learned in that match? Because wrestling him is like it's like a masterclass, if you will, for wrestling. What was the takeaway after that match?
2. 1, I can hold my own. I think the main lesson I learned with Darius Carter was that I can hold my own. I don't think that in that match, yeah, he beat me up, but I felt like I gave it back. Also, I learned that and this is just a life lesson, because I got a lot of crap backstage for this match and the booking of this match. A lot of people, I got crap for it. Like, people were looking at me side eyes, just because, like, why did she get this match, and why does she think she deserved this match? And like, I did something, like I did some nefarious action to get this match, and I think it's because it's the match that everybody want. And I just want your viewers to know, like, when you have a blessing or a big opportunity, I should say, when you have an opportunity, do not care about what anybody else has to say about your opportunity. You seize it, and you just do the best you can, because people are going to talk either way. So when I had my match with Darius, a lot of people had comments. In the wrestling realm, of course, we're still promoting a show, and in a locker room realm, people had a lot of side comments to say. But I had my opportunity. I learned so much. I learned how to work. I took every critique and criticism from Darius, and of course, I took that back to my training, and I, of course, worked on the things that he told me to work on. I am so grateful for that match, because I just gained a certain type of toughness. Also, I feel like I didn't have. I was always, like I said, in women's matches, I was always bigger, so I was able to bully my opponents. So to be on the other side of that just helped me. I won't say get more grit, but I think that taking that, like, just getting beat down and having to fight back, just, what's the word I'm looking for? Helped me gain like a resilient type of energy to me that I didn't
Love
have
that.
before. Like, and of course, and like I said, like, I can hold my head high knowing that I was eliminated out of the tournament by the best wrestler in that tournament. My elimination, I might have gone out in the first round, but it was Darius Carter who eliminated me. There's no shame in saying that. You know what I'm saying? The person who was champion 1,200 plus days eliminated me from the tournament. And I'm not going to get into all the other matches because that wasn't my business. But
but yeah, I mean, you're right. You can't get bitter about losing to one of the best to do it, especially in BCW. Speaking of tournaments, we have one coming up. Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, January 29th. BCW is coming back with Queen of the North 4, one of our favorite shows of the year. Nevaeh Chantelle, you are in the tournament.
Yes.
Are you aware of your opponent in the first round yet?
Announce it.
Are you ready for it?
Yes.
I have it right here in front of me. Your opponent, round 1, is Brittany Jade.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this matchup coming up? How do you feel? I mean, again, the last time we saw you BCW was a tournament. Now you're coming into a tournament. I mean, what are your feelings here about this one?
So, unfortunately for Brittany Jade, I'm coming in frustrated because I'm still 0-2 at BCW. And I want my win. I want my first win. So, Brittany is nothing personal, but you just gonna have to catch this ass whoop. And I'm no offense to none of the other women in this tournament, but I'm walking out of Ridgefield Park Queen of the North. I'm going to start my year off, 2023, putting my stamp as the 2023 Queen of the North, because I'm ready to set these goals up, because BCW for me is going to, I'm feeling championship aspirations.
Okay.
For the future. And I think winning Queen of the North is just the right thing to start this off.
Hey, I mean, Queen of the North winners, I mean, they've gone on to do great things. The first one ever, Faye Jackson. Second one, Vanity. Both became BCW Women Champions. Danny Moe, hell of a year she had.
Yes.
And coming into 2023 here with a big time matchup here at Queen of the North. We're not going to announce that quite yet, but I think the fans could take a hint there what that matchup is going to be. So, Nevaeh Chantelle, you are absolutely right. Winning Queen of the North is a big deal. It could have championship aspirations for you in the near future.
Definitely. I think, first off, I have a huge respect for the BCW Women's Champion, Ruthless Lala. So if I can get in the ring with her sometime this year, I'm ready for it. Huge respect for her. And also, like, just we can't talk too much about the participants, but there's definitely some women in this tournament that I can't wait to wrestle. And I think Queen of North is always going to be special. I made my debut last year at Queen of North. It's always going to be special to me. I came up short on Queen of the Monsters, but remember what I did in that Queen of the Monsters match. I got violent. I started throwing trash cans and, wooden sticks and just started beating people up. You know what I mean?
You're not afraid to get your hands dirty, so respect there in that.
Exactly. So I'm coming in the Queen of the North. Okay, I might can't use a weapon this year.
Nope.
But I don't need to.
Because you are the Immaculate Threat.
Immaculate Threat.
and
at the end of the night, we're going to say, all hail the Immaculate Threat, Queen of the North.
Boom.